Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good day ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first monthly webinar for January 2019. It's our first monthly compliance and legislation update, also fondly referred to as the MCLU. To all our new subscribers, welcome to all of you. To all the old guys, old ladies, I don't mean old as in age, old as in existing clients, a very warm welcome. I trust you had a great festive season and I wish you all the best for 2019. We're all very confident that it can only be better than last year. Last year I think was rough for most people. Right. So for those of you that haven't met me yet, if you look on the screen, you'll see my name is Lettie, Janse van Vuuren. On behalf of the SA Accounting Academy, a warm welcome, and I will be your facilitator for the next 2 hours. On the agenda for this month, we have under accounting 2 items. In an attempt, the one is an update, and the other one's just like a little summary. So I'll be attempting to just give those of you that want to a summary on all the IFRS items every month, so that you can follow what's happening, what are they doing, what do they want to do. Normally, we only bring it into the MCLU once they've actually made the changes, unless it is quite a significant change, in which case we will just let you know that there is a proposed amendment coming. Right, under auditing and other assurance items, 6 items this month. So when I say other assurance services, it normally includes your normal assurance engagements, your ISAE 3000s, as well as your independent reviews. Right. Any sort of engagement where you provide some sort of assurance. Under company secretarial this month, only 2 items. We've normally got way more than that in a month, but because we are covering December, it was basically like half a month. So you'll see we don't have that much under company secretarial or other laws and regulations. Under regulator news, we've got a lot. So under employment law, we've also got 2 interesting articles that I found there regarding employment law. So 2 items there. Under other laws and regulations, we've got the 3 items. I found quite a nice summary on the Competition Act that I included for you there this month. Then under taxation, we've got 9 items. So those are all the new items that were issued by SARS before they closed. Under regulator news, we've got 14 items, right? And we'll work through those as they are important. And then under general announcements, there was just 1 very generic item regarding your credit profile. Right, so let's then get straight into the swing of things. We're going to start off with the accounting update. And the accounting update starts with proposed amendments to IAS 37. Right, so the IASB has published the proposed amendments to IAS 37. And IAS 37, for those of you that don't remember, I've just put on the slide there for you, it actually deals with contingent liabilities, provisions, and contingent assets. So the proposed amendments are all regarding onerous contracts. So the ED or the exposure draft is actually called cost of fulfilling a contract, and it's considering the costs of a company that they should include as the cost of fulfilling that contract when they assess whether the contract is actually onerous or not. Because without onerous contracts, we cannot raise any provisions or contingent liabilities or contingent assets for that matter. You'll see the comments are requested here by the 15th of April, the deadline at the bottom. So it is going to be a while still, but this is just the proposal. It was issued on the 13th of December. But what they've wanted to include now, why they want to change it, is to change the way that they assess whether a contract is onerous, and what it looks at is to specify that the costs of fulfilling a contract includes both the incremental costs, right? The incremental costs as well as your other costs directly related to the contract. So your incremental costs are the costs of materials and an allocation of other costs that are directly related to that. So the other costs that are directly related might be your depreciation charge for the equipment that the company uses to fulfill those contracts. Right. In your material, you'll actually find a bit of a change or a bit of a summary there. I have also included for you the whole exposure draft as well as a brief summary document. The brief summary document I found quite useful. It's a 4-page document which they call the In Brief Introduction. So if I can just quickly show you what it looks like on the webinar material. You'll see here that it says there are links to additional information. I have included these links for you if you want to go to the IFRS website. But those two I've already downloaded for you. So the 18-page ED as well as the 4-page brief summary. All right. That summary is actually quite nice. So that's what you've got available. Okay. So just to say that it is coming, and we will keep you updated as to when it is approved and whatnot. Then in terms of the IFRS news, always looking at the IFRS International Committee, which is IFRIC. So they have meetings every month, which is IFRIC and the IASB. And then the material that I give you attempts to summarize all of that. And that's what you've got here in your material. So in the material, you'll see it says the IASB issued their 17th edition of the Investor Update on 27 November. And then I give you the link to that. All right, because it's more for your information rather than being very specific. So I'd rather give it in as a link than not include it at all. In terms of the IFRIC committee, you'll see items on the current agenda are there, and then there's tentative decisions. And then you'll see the ones that I normally highlight are the ones that I think are very relevant to this month. And the one that I've found here is the customer's right to access the supplier's software that's hosted on the cloud. The items that I mark in yellow are the ones you see that I want to highlight for you. So this is in terms of IAS 38, and it relates to a situation where we've got a customer and the customer contracts to pay a fee in exchange for the right to access their software. And the software runs on the cloud infrastructure. It's managed and controlled by the supplier, and the customer accesses the software as and when they need to. Right. Either over the internet or via dedicated line. Normally it happens over the internet. So the way that we normally have our webinars and our live webinars is using Click Meeting, and that's exactly what this is. So there's a right to access the supplier's software in the cloud because that's exactly where it's held. All right. So it does have some details that they consider here, and you'll see that this is where everything starts. This is where the proposed changes come from and the eventual changes to the actual standards. Right. Let's get back to the slide. On the slide, you'll see there's the summary for IFRIC, and then the IASB, which is the International Accounting Standards Board, always have a summary of all the topics that they discussed at their latest meetings. So I have included for you the meeting that they held on the 14th to 15th of November. And they did look at the changes which we've already discussed last year is IFRS 17 on insurance contracts. Then in terms of the primary financial statements, it's a standing agenda point for them. And that's where they normally decide whether or not they want certain disclosure items. Right. Whether they are going to develop mandatory examples to illustrate whether there's a statement of cash flow or the notes to clarify how certain line items should be disclosed or presented in the financials. So that's normally something we look at when they actually come through with a proposed change. Then on the implementation side, you'll see that in terms of implementation, the first one talks about IAS 16 on PPE. So what they've done is they've tentatively decided now to proceed with the changes to IAS 16. There's some modifications, and that's looking at how to identify the costs that are related to the sales of items produced before that property or plant or equipment is capable of operating. Right. So that looks at the disclosure and the presentation requirements for what to do with it before it gets to you, before it's capable of operating. In terms of cryptocurrencies, they haven't changed anything in terms of their holdings of cryptocurrencies at this stage. They've asked IFRIC to consider publishing something that explains how entities should apply IFRS to the way that they hold their cryptocurrencies. They're not bringing out anything new at this stage, so no new standards. And then IAS 37, they're just saying that they'll go ahead with the proposed amendments in relating to the costs of fulfilling the contract. All right. So you'll see this is a regular summary item or a regular monthly item that we'll see from now on.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.